This is Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC. I have the pleasure of having an industry veteran, a man that has helped thousands and thousands of people get fit, coming in from Scarsdale. Glenn, Neighborhood Trainers, welcome to Halo Talks.
Thanks so much for having me, Pete.
So to start off, I used to do a lot of karaoke, and I've been sidelined for the last 7 or 8 months. And I was thinking about this podcast, and I was thinking maybe we could do from Mr. Rogers. I could just do a quick riff, on, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be my trainer?
I can appreciate that.
Yeah, you might get a cease and desist, but we'll deal with that afterwards. Any publicity is good publicity.
Well, I always went with, I think it was the Sesame Street one, who are the people in your neighborhood? And I thought, who are the trainers in your neighborhood? But I haven't gone there yet.
All right, that's cool. All right, yeah, well, probably not the time to be infringing on IP, given everyone's looking to take money out of somebody else's pocket right now because it's not rolling around. But why don't you give your personal background, and then, I think one of the benefits of this podcast is really for our audience to really understand the value of the relationships between a member and a trainer, going inside of the home and connecting with people where they want to work out, where they're comfortable. I think we probably got another 3 to 6 months of, psychological and behavioral adjustments. And that actually probably turns into a long-term, trend. So far away.
Yeah. I definitely see at least another 6 months of this, but I guess I started exercising as a teenager and was pretty consistent throughout. Just more maintain general fitness. Never had a real serious goal except to maintain my health. In my 20s, I became more of a runner. Completed 4 marathons, and at that time, I decided I just couldn't get enough fitness knowledge from magazines and went and got my first trainer certification. Funny because it came through the mail and it was on a VHS tape, the studies, and passed the test, and I never did anything with it because I felt like there was this whole large piece that I was missing about how to market myself as a trainer. Fast forward a number of years, and I'm living in New York City. I'm living with my family in an apartment building that did have a small gym in it. And I noticed all of these trainers working with some of my neighbors. This was probably about 2006, 2007. And I said, how do they connect? And on the way in and out, there's always this corkboard with a bunch of business cards on it. Those business cards have anything from cleaning services to maintenance to personal trainers on them. And I just felt like that was not the way to find the right trainer for. So I decided to look at creating a website that was somewhat like a dating site / what was out there at that point were the real estate listings as well, and sort of apply that to, helping people find the right trainer. And that's where Neighborhood Trainers came out of.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I've been using Thumbtack, Angie's List, Home Advisor, so it sounds like that's kind of the good analogies to the platform that you built.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, they definitely do it a bit differently because the payment structure for trainers is different. Mine is you pay to be on the platform a very affordable rate, and anything that the trainers get through there is 100% there. They're theirs. There's no additional fees. There's no commissions, etc.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you say that because I moved to California several years ago. Back in New York now, but I was looking for someone to play tennis with. So I went on this site called Coach Up. And and after my first session with the guy, he's like, hey man, can you do me a favor and just pay me directly? Because they were getting like a 35% of every session. So
right.
That site kind of, thought that they were a recurring lead generator where they would keep that. And it turns out that they probably have a lot of one-time payments of 35%, and they lose that relationship, so.
Right. And that's somewhere I didn't want to go. I didn't feel it was necessary to be chasing trainers. For me, it's about building a long-term relationship. And I've had trainers, the site's been up since 2010. I've had trainers on the site since the beginning. And certainly different increments from there, 7 years, 5 years, 3 years, and so on. So for me, it's about the relationship, much the same way it's about a trainer-client relationship. And to maintain that for the long term is the way I feel, you can build a better business. And certainly those long-term relationships, they extend out, in referrals, et cetera.
So when you take a look at what's happened recently, have you seen since the start of COVID, a lot of personal trainers joining the site, or a lot more activity to your platform as people, stay at home more and are trying to get the results that they want to achieve and know that, they might not have the discipline or are being pushed hard enough on some of these, video on demand apps?
Right. I think I've seen a different, I've seen a different activity level. Some trainers certainly got a deer in the headlights fear at the beginning to just say, I need to save as much money as I can and put a pause on it. Others came back, several came back on who I'd seen in the past, and also there were new trainers. So there was a mix there. As far as people looking for trainers, that was it. That was the interesting part for me, because I see each trainer client outreach. Anytime someone reaches out to a trainer, I get a copy of it as well. And the messages were very, I guess, new to personal training. People reaching out for the first time saying, I have not been doing anything for the last 2 or 3 months, and I need to get moving. I don't know what to do in my house. I don't know what exercises I should be performing, and I need some help.
So the second part of this segment we're doing with enhanced audio. Glenn, welcome back to Halo Talks, buddy.
Thanks, Pete. Glad to be here on the enhanced audio version.
You got it. We're in HD 4.0 right now. So, you were mentioning right before the commercial break, if you will. Maybe we'll get a sponsor by the time this podcast launches for once. Talking about that there are different types of people that are coming in, and it's people that maybe are new to fitness and know that they want to stay in shape. So, how are trainers pricing this, and how are trainers managing this? Are they during the summer, are they meeting people at a park or in their backyard, or is this all kind of like connectivity over like a Zoom or some kind of Vimeo platform?
I believe from all the conversations I had with trainers, initially everything was over Zoom as the numbers were rising, and we really didn't know much about what was going on. But as numbers came down and we became more educated, people started to want to get out into the park and meet their trainer in the open, having a socially distanced training session. Those who stayed on Zoom, I think they priced their sessions a little bit cheaper because they weren't traveling, and so they were saving time there. Some trainers have discounted their sessions for other reasons. Maybe they weren't paying for a gym fee, things like that. But I think everybody was trying to stay relevant and creative, just to keep some revenue coming in, and also make it more palatable for their existing clients as well as attracting new clients.
Got it. Have you thought about with your platform? It sounds like you're trying to be a helpful lead generator, but not trying to embed yourself in the transaction side of this. Have you been approached, or have you thought about potentially partnering with some of these groups that are out there that have designed software to facilitate the communication, whether that's off the top of my head is something called On Podio, there's Solon Fitness, there's, I think, maybe Sweat at Home.
My Gijo, yep.
Yeah. So have you approached any of those groups, or do you kind of want to stay independent and say, look, this is kind of my lane and I don't want to contaminate that?
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, I decided which lane I want to be in, for the simple reason that I'm trying to be the entrepreneur that's helping other entrepreneurs build their businesses, be those entrepreneurs being those personal trainers. And so, that I know all trainers want to keep as much as they can. And so I want to help facilitate them growing their business directly with their clients so they can do that.
Gotcha. And longer term, just like maybe at a macro level, do you feel that the dynamics and the relationships between a health club studio and the trainer or instructor is going to materially change? I feel like, starting in April, the instructors and the trainers basically said, these are my members. Your physical location's closed. They actually come here to see me. And I'm basically just going to go up on Instagram and I'm going to go up on Facebook Live and Zoom. And, I could say I was a SoulCycle instructor, but maybe I'm not coming back. And I'm just going to kind of create my own business here. And do you think that the studios and the health clubs are going to have to rethink, whether it's the rev share or whether there's some other economic model that is going to be the new normal going forward?
Well, I think there's going to be a mix of everything in that, I guess trainers and clients both had to walk away, so they had to reinvent the way they were training. The gyms are certainly going to have to decide once they're reopened and their members come back, how they're going to do it. Is it going to change? I think there'll be a mix. I think there's just going to be certain players that adapt and certain players that take a hard line that they want to go back to the way things were before, that their members are their clients and they're not, I believe legally, the client has the relationship with the gym and not necessarily the trainer when they do purchase training through the gym, even though they are working specifically with a certain trainer. So it's definitely going to evolve, and some places are going to have a level of flexibility, and others are going to just feel like they don't need to have that level of flexibility.
Got it. And the trainers that are on your system, or trainers that you're in touch with or have relationships with over the years, do you think that they become better, business people, if you will, to understand, like, hey, if I'm going to actually go and do personal training full time directly to consumer, there's a certain amount of hours, there's a certain amount of money they have to spend, on other things besides training?
Yeah, I think that they can become better trainers because they're looking at how much continuing education they have to take. They're looking, they have to have the resources for themselves. It's not being supplied by a gym, and they have to stay as much on the cutting edge of things as possible, because again, they're not in a feeding system where there's a membership base that they're getting their clients from. When they're on Neighborhood Trainers, they have a profile that lists where they can list all of their services, their experiences, and all their certifications. So people can read through that and see what this trainer is all about. If they played a sport when they were younger, they might see something on that trainer's profile that connects with them and resonates with them. And then they want to contact that trainer directly because of what they saw there, not necessarily because a trainer was next up in the gym. Are they placed with that trainer?
Yeah, so I got a trainer over the summer. I actually didn't check your site before I did that, but I was specifically looking for a trainer specializing in 48-year-old aspiring field goal kickers. Because I bought 5 footballs and a field goal placement holder, and I would go down to the local field in Westbury where I grew up, and I got kicked off the field by the maintenance guys there. They said no sporting events today. And I'm like, hey man, if I'm practicing field goals by myself at age 48 with no fan base, is that really a sporting event?
Right.
That's a separate conflict that I just want to bring up and make sure I had the audio recording of this.
Yeah, you definitely would have found a trainer or two on there that had some football playing background. And it's funny because my son actually said to me just the other day, maybe I should be a field goal kicker. They get paid well, and they don't necessarily have to get hit a whole lot.
Do you remember the guys that used to not wear a cleat? Like the barefoot kicking guys?
Right.
That's kind of gone by the wayside, thankfully.
Yeah, because now they have to actually make plays other than just kick the ball.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, the trick play with the guy that doesn't have any shoe wear is probably he should probably get paid more and have a key man insurance policy or something.
Right.
I hear you. So, what do you see the future from a standpoint of, before COVID? They've probably looked at thousands of health club and fitness studio related income statements. You typically have like 10% of people are using a personal trainer at a membership base, 25% are going in using group exercise. The rest are kind of on their own, doing their own workouts. Do you see a proliferation of personal training or small group training going forward? Do you think people are actually going to take better care of themselves and invest more money in their health, given that the reason why people go down from COVID is mostly because of diabetes, obesity, and hypertension?
Yeah, I do actually. It's funny. I've had that conversation a lot with people who are members of gyms and just people who exercise regularly. I feel that if nothing else comes out of COVID, I mean, it's such a tragedy. But if nothing else, I think people will take better care of themselves. I mean, there has to be, or people must learn that there's a level of personal accountability for your own health that you need to take on. As you said, the healthier you are, the less risk factors you have, the better prepared you are for not just fighting off COVID, but fighting off any disease. So ultimately, I believe that people have got to look at that, and they will, I think, take more interest in personal training. I would think maybe not all for the long haul necessarily, for those people who have relationships with their trainers for years and years, but pockets here and there, almost such as the way someone might reach out to an accountant for some help, temporary help for, a month or two, or a few months, or legal help for a little while, and then get back to doing it by themselves. And then, a year later, do some more check-in. But again, there's going to be those people who realize they're in it for the long haul with the trainer, because they fully understand they can't do it themselves, and they want somebody around them constantly to keep them on point and keep them on goal.
Yeah. On the personal accountability front, then we'll wrap this up here because I know you got to go. Before COVID, I read an article that some of these casual dining restaurants were going to make the booths and the seats bigger to accommodate larger people. And I'm like, that is not the solution, my friends.
Right. So 100%. That's funny and sad at the same time.
Yeah. So in closing here, you want to give us a quote that one of your favorite quotes or things that people hear you say all the time?
Oh my gosh. What do I say all the time? Similar to what I was saying before, I tell people a lot. So you can order in your dinner, you can send out your dry cleaning, but nobody else can work out for you. You've got to exercise for yourself.
Exercise for yourself. Welcome to the neighborhood. Glenn, good talking to you. Hope to see you back in the city, but we'll allow you to stay in the suburbs until everything passes and we get back to the new normal. Thanks again for your time.
Thanks so much,
Good to
Pete.
hear from you. All right, buddy. Thanks.
Take care.
as we continue to build our Halo Talks email notification database, want to offer you a free $10 instant gift card from our friends at Promotion Vault. Also to show you how easy it is to offer your members and prospects and clients the ability to get desired actions out of them and reward them in real time. Go to halotalks.com, put your email address into the pop-up box, see how it works, get a free $10 gift card from us, and keep listening and making everybody great.